It's now time for Remember When with Uncle John. John Guess, Ouachita County's resident storyteller and local historian. Sit back now and enjoy a walk down memory lane as John recalls the days of yesteryear in his own unique way. You never know, some of it might even be true. So here's Uncle John, along with his trusty sidekick, Kelly Blair.
Back on Remember When with Uncle John here at the start of a brand new week, brand new season, brand new year, 2023. Welcome, bud. Sit down and behave and be better than 2022. That's what we really want to see out of you. Here on the Remember When with Uncle John show, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams House Paint, 315 Jefferson Street, 836-8125. You got any interior or exterior house painting going on, give Greg Bradshaw and his staff a call over there. They'll point you in the right direction.
And we got ProMed Ambulance. Give those fine folks a call at 1-800-634-0436, serving Randolph, Lawrence, Ashley, Union, Dallas, and Calhoun County.
We're also brought to you by the Shopper's Guide. Old J.J. Lindsay can help you out with all your printing needs.
If you got some stationery, you got some no trespassing signs, whatever your printing needs, J.J. down at the Shopper's Guide will hook you up.
No doubt about it. And you can always come back and listen to us again later if you just love what you heard here today, or if one of your friends or family or something like that missed it, go ahead and tell them, hey, just listen to the podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, YouTube, or you can even find us on the Yes Radio Works Facebook page. Well, John, here we are, brand new week, brand new year. What do you want to talk about on Tuesday, January 3rd?
Well, you know, January the 3rd is always a special day for me.
Oh.
It's the day my life changed.
Okay.
I went to work at Lockheed, it was LTV then, 1984, summer of 84. We had our Christmas party. And the next morning, my brother was living right down the street here at Miss Hale's, and I had a headache that wouldn't fit in a 5-gallon bucket.
Oh, there you go.
He took me up to the Piggly Wiggly's here to get me some BC powder, and a young lady was standing there checking out groceries, and I knew her, vaguely knew who she was, and I didn't feel like talking, but I was just making small talk, you know. I said, I understand you got a divorce. And she said, well, I heard you got one. I didn't even know she knew who I was. So when the tape come out of the register, she wrote her address down on the back of it. She said, well, come by and see me. So I stuck it in my pocket because at the time I was not physically able to think about it. But about 2 weeks later, she told me, she said, now you got to come by and see me. I ain't got no phone. So about 2 weeks later, after work one day, January the 3rd, 1985, I said, I'm going to go by and check this young lady out. And I was almost 25 years old. My nephew at that time was probably 5 or 6, but I had never been around no kids, you know. When my nephew was little, I was out in the world creating pandemonium and mayhem and staying in South Louisiana and all that. But I went over to this young lady's house, and she had a 2-year-old daughter. And when I walked in and sat down, the house was immaculate. And in about 15 minutes, it looked like a war zone. But we sat there and laughed and made fun of what she was doing and watched her just destroy the house. But more so than her mama, that little girl changed my life. And I think about it every year on January the 3rd. And it took a few years and a couple of big mistakes, but I ended up marrying that little girl's mama. And we stayed married 26 years till she passed away. And me and her mama had a little girl of our own, and I don't love either one of them any more than I do the other one. The first one is not biologically mine, but I raised her, and she's as much mine as mine. And when everybody else is mad at me and won't talk to me and don't want to have nothing to do with me, I can count on her being the voice of reason. And I'm telling you, she means everything in the world to me. And it all started on January the 3rd, 1985. And I think about it every year on that day. And somewhere tucked away in my stuff, I've still got that grocery receipt, for BC powder for a terrible headache and a canned Coke. that started all of it. But it was 232 Davies Street over off of Mall Road. And matter of fact, I got the Davies Street sign on my shop. But all that started, and my life completely changed January 3rd, 1985.
Well, all because two people fell in love.
That's right.
Hey, you guys must have done a pretty good job. She grew up to be like a scientist, neurological doctor or something. Or what is she doing now?
She's a professor at UAMS.
Yeah, I can't even pronounce it, man. It's like 3 miles long or whatever.
Yeah, but she's I've always called her my little girl, and she's my little girl, and I love her to death, and she changed my life. Cherokee Carlene Newell Robertson.
Even gave you a grandchild.
A grandson, that's right.
There you go.
Who's a beanhead.
Beanhead.
That's right.
Harper, he's just kidding with you, man. We all love you. Hey, that's going to wrap up Remember When with Uncle John for today, but we just getting started in this short week. Don't blink. We'll be gone before you know it, but we'll be right back here on a Wednesday ready to talk about some wrestling. I guess we'll see you then, John.
See you tomorrow, Kelly.
You've been listening to Remember When with Uncle John on Y95. This broadcast can be heard each weekday morning at 6:45 on South Arkansas's favorite station, Y95.